Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dergboi Podcast. Oh my gosh, it's been a while. I'm so sorry I haven't uploaded a video in a while, but hey, we're back now, and we're going to be talking about my always a variety of interesting topics to discuss. So here you are. I am your host, Rugged the Lovable Huggable Dragon, and we're on episode 16, and I almost ran out of breath there. So we're going to be talking about my time on vacation, my first time driving. I'm late to the party, but I will let you know about it, and other life updates. So, of course, if you're all watching this on Spotify or whatever platform you're using it on, either Audible or Apple Podcasts and all that, if you're listening to it and you really like my sweet and sexy voice, please give it a review. It really helps me out. If you want to, I'm not forcing you. I'm not forcing everybody to like, favorite, and to subscribe, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, if you ever want to be part of my podcast as a voice guest, or you have questions and you want me to read them out loud and answer them, feel free to click on a few of the links that I provided within the episode of my podcast. So I appreciate anybody who asks me questions. I haven't really gotten any yet. I'm not popular. I am not popular whatsoever. But if you want to have your question asked, if you want to be anonymous, that's fine. Otherwise, I can read out your name and I will read your question and I will answer it to my best ability, and very honestly, I might add. So anyway, the best way to reach me in regards to these questions is on Twitter at RuggedTheDragon. It's all one word, along with my Discord channel that you can also freely join. Again, the links are in the description of this video. And I also hope to hear from everybody as time rolls on. And also, I do live stream on Twitch. It's under the same name at RuggedTheDragon, all one word. And I play a variety of video games that you all might enjoy. Most recently, I was playing Elden Ring. Now, this game was actually given to me by my good friend, Al the Hyena, or Al Pyro. He's a really good friend of mine. He's amazing. We played the co-op mod, which I will tell you about later on. But again, so yeah, go on my Twitch, and if you enjoy the podcast and you just want to interact with me during my live streams and gaming and all that, that's great too. Head on over, tell me that you're from the podcast, and I'll be like, hey, stop by, say hi, offer a follow or a subscription or give me your money. I'm kidding. I don't ask for donations. I've been receiving donations not too long ago. It's very rare, but hey, whatever you want to do to support me, I'm not forcing you. Yeah, but I do roast sometimes, I joke around. So with that being said, let's get on to the main topics about my time on vacation and my driving experience and other things I'm going to tell you about. All right, so the vacation. So what did I do? So for a week straight, this was like a few weeks ago, back during the 4th of July, I believe. Or was it after? I think it was the week after 4th of July. We were going to WIldwood for the weekend. For the week, actually. I keep saying the weekend. It was essentially my mother and father, 2 of my sisters, my niece, and myself. So 6 people. So we went to WIldwood, we got everything packed up, everything was nice and neat, everything was organized. I had my plans. My plan was to simply go to a restaurant and, what was my other thing I wanted to do? I can't remember. I had a few plans, but I ended up not doing a bunch of them. So my other idea was to get an old-time photo, but my niece is not very photogenic, and it'd be kind of boring if I got a photo by myself. I'd rather have it be with a group, So we got to WIldwood. And everything seemed all right at first. We went to the hotel. The hotel was small. I will say that. I had to sleep on the couch, but I'm not complaining. I don't mind where I sleep, but the couch was actually really comfy. So we got there. We had to plan out everything. We realized the room was a little small, but we can manage with 6 people. Until my 2 sisters got sick out of nowhere. They just got sick. My one sister threw up. The other one not feeling great either. So they left. So we were down to 4 people total. Myself, my niece, and my parents. So we went to the boardwalk quite often, right? So I will say this, my niece, we went to the pier, and early birthday present was giving her a pass that cost us about $90. And we had like what was it called? It was a card that you scan. And when you scan it, you get tickets reduced from your card account, your balance, and you can ride on rides. Rides can range from 3 tickets. Others can range to about maybe 10 or plus tickets. So my niece and I, we both got passes. So we're going to the first ride we went on. We went on the teacups. Now, here's the thing about me. I used to ride on all of the rides when I was younger. I rode on everything, fast paced, like roller coasters, you name it, right? The only thing I dislike about rides are the ones that spin you around quite a bit. Teacups made me worried, but you know what? I'm with my niece. I can handle it. So I sit down with her. We get all strapped in and everything like that. And then she goes, "Oh, by the way, I spin this thing really fast." "Oh, really?" She continues on. "I spun so fast one time, they had to lock this ride because I was going too fast and they told me that I could not do that." Great. That's really reassuring. And sure enough, the ride started. She was on that wheel trying to spin that teacup, and I helped her out, unfortunately. We spun around so fast. It was fun. I wasn't sick at all, but I got off the ride and I was a little dizzy. But she was fine. She wanted to do another one. So we did a few more rides. We did one where we lied on their stomachs and we kind of flew around like Superman. But the one ride that I didn't think would affect me so much were the swings. We sat down on the swings, all comfortable, swung around. I was looking around, but then I realized I started to get a little nauseous. I didn't throw up. If you're all wondering, I did not. This is not where you think it's going to go. I did not throw up, thank gosh. But I got nauseous, and I'm like, nope, I don't want to do any more rides. Now, I would have preferred, to this day, I don't know why, I prefer wooden roller coasters. I don't much like the ones that go upside down or sideways. Wooden roller coasters. Now, for those who don't know, a year ago, we went to Hershey Park. It was myself, my best friend, Mina. I call her Mina. Great artist, by the way. You should check her out on Fur Affinity. Her name is Mina_Rabbit, or it's just all one word. Actually, it's just all one word. Mina Rabbit. Really good artist, by the way. A little shout out there. We also went with her brother, one of my other friends named Kazon. Great guy, too. And Mina's brother was also with us. No, wait, did I say brother? And her fiance as well, Kane. That's his name. We all went to Hershey Park. And I could not believe that when we went on a wooden roller coaster, we were so happy, right? We went on the other steel-based roller coaster where it went upside down, and we were, our stomachs turned a little bit. But the wooden roller coaster was so much better. And I don't know if it's just me getting older, but my gosh, now I realize the whole appreciation of wooden roller coasters. So going fast forward, going up to Wildwood, I really wanted to go on a wooden roller coaster with her. However, she has a high tolerance for spinning rides, not so much with roller coasters. I don't know why. We're like opposites. She loves spinny rides. I hate spinny rides. I love roller coasters. She hates roller coasters. What is this? So we pretty much went on all these rides. Well, she did. She ran out of her tickets early because she went on the one ride like 5 times, right? She's only like 13. She'll be 14, I think, this year. I can't remember exactly. She's growing up fast, right? So she goes on all the rides to the point where she completely depletes her bank card, the card that you use to scan the tickets for. So I gave her the rest of mine. I'm not going to use them. We did go on one ride together. The last ride we went on together, it was like kind of like a slow ride where you sit down and you get an overview of the pier that you're at. I think it's Pier 2 we were at in Wildwood. And it was nice. It was slow. We got to talk about a lot of subjects. And during the ride, we looked down at one of the water parks that was it was closed because it was getting late. And we looked down, and both of us had flashbacks. And she goes, "I think I've been here before." And I looked down, and I'm like, yeah, actually, I think we were. Because I remembered now. I see one of those slides, and I thought to myself, I remember she was only a year old, maybe 2 years. And I remember holding her in my arms. She was so tiny back then. I held her in my arms, put her on my lap, and we slid down the slide together. And it was so pleasant. And that's exactly what I thought of this whole time. I was like, oh my gosh, we have been here. So other than that, the boardwalk kind of got boring. I think Wildwood is a kind of place you should go to for a vacation for 2, maybe 3 days, because once you've been there longer than that, you start getting bored. You start realizing there's nothing much else to offer in terms of boardwalk entertainment. It's a long boardwalk, yes, and there are lots of stores, lots of places, but they all are pretty much the same. It's either restaurants, clothing stores, or games that you don't want to play because it'll cost you $20 to win a prize that's only worth 10 cents. So, yeah, and there's also a couple arcades there, but they weren't that great either. It was mostly those kind of arcade games, which are either claw machines or some form of like gambling or casino-style games. There were a couple light shooters here and there, but a lot of them didn't work for some reason. And the ones that did work were expensive. I don't want to play that. So, my niece and I, we went everywhere. Whenever she wanted to eat something, I got her something to eat. French fries, funnel cake. I spent a whole paycheck there at my work. I spent about I'd say, in total, I'd say about $600, maybe more. Oh, but that's because half of the purchases were from Amazon Prime Day. Yeah. As soon as that sale started, I was like, oh, gonna get this, get this, get this, get this. I was up in the morning. I couldn't sleep. So I got up in the morning and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Prime Day. Boop, 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 boop. Put this on my list. Put this on my list. Put this one on my list and purchase. And I'll get to one of the items I purchased. I'll get to that later on. But the whole experience at Wildwood was really good. I liked it. It got blazingly, intolerably hot later on. Oh, God. The last 2 days were freaking scorchers. Oh, God. We had to say to ourselves, you know what? We have to get in some air conditioning and wait till the sun goes down a little bit because it is too hot to do anything. And we don't want to spend extra money to go to the beach. Or not beach. We could go to the beach, but it's too much of a hassle. And we don't want to pay extra for water parks. So we just chilled out, literally, in our rooms again. We took a nap, and it was about like 4 o'clock or so. The sun was coming down. It got a little cooler. So we went back out, and we had fun. So I'd say that overall, the experience was neat, except the last day. So here's a funny story. So my father, now, he is unable to walk very much, so we have to use his scooter. He has to use a scooter that he brings with him. It's a lift that's in the back of his van. So we put the scooter on there. The lift itself clasps onto the chair so that it doesn't move when it's riding on the back of the vehicle. So we go, we attach the vehicle on the we call it, I can't speak today. We attached his cart onto his vehicle. We had a little bit of breakfast, and then we parted ways with Wildwood. Now, the problem was, as soon as we went down the road, we realized the lift wasn't fully clamped onto the back of the vehicle. Thank gosh we were not on the highway, because his chair eventually bounced out of the lift, like the back of the vehicle. It just fell right off. That heavy scooter fell right off, and he was not happy with that. And we mentioned that earlier. It's like, I think it's on there, right? Because we always put it on there every time, and it never failed. And this time it just did. So we were worried because we couldn't get back home because we had to take a big highway. And if this thing is on the back of the vehicle and it can't stay on there, it's going to fall off on the highway and hit a car. So we were panicking until something hit my mind. I'm like, you know what we could do? We parked someplace. We took off everything from the back of the van. Everything. I took out every piece of item that we put in there. Bags, mats, everything. Chairs. And I decided, with all my strength and the help of my parents, to get his scooter inside the van. And by golly, we did it. We put our stuff back in there, and we went home like carefree. Got home, but eventually people came by to fix his scooter because, for those who don't know, he was a veteran. and he gets free services, essentially, for the most part. They fixed his scooter up a bit. They fixed the lift. Now it works all fine and dandy. So it was a stressful last day, but at the same time, it was thank gosh that I came up with that idea, because otherwise we probably wouldn't have never gotten home yet. Yeah, a little tip for everybody. Wildwood is a fun place to go to, but I would not be there for more than 3 days or 2 days, unless, of course, you want to travel outside of the boardwalk and you have a whole schedule of events that you want to do, then maybe. But otherwise, the boardwalk gets a little boring. And everything's super mad expensive. So don't waste your money too much like I did. Now, I will accept the fact that my finances were worth it, considering my niece was happy. So I guess that's a good thing. Maybe. I don't know. All right. So anyway, that's enough about Wildwood. So let's get on to the other subject involving my first time driving. Yeah. So anyway, I am in my mid-30s. And surprisingly enough, I have not driven a vehicle in my life. I'm a late bloomer. I know some people might be cringing at the idea that I haven't drove yet at my age. It's not uncommon. There are plenty of people who have not driven yet at my age. People have not driven way older than me. Some people have never driven in their lives. It's normal. I wouldn't say some people might not consider it fully acceptable because it's a normal thing to have to do. How could you live without a car? So the main reason why I did not rely on the car for so long was because everything was close by. I always walked to school. I went to the Marines. Base was pretty much had everything I needed within walking distance as well. My other jobs, also not too far away. I always took buses, but they were really fast and reliable back then. And my not so long ago cashier job was literally 20 minutes away walking. So if I really wanted to get there in 10 minutes or less, I could have just easily rode a bike. So everything was really close by. Until I got my Amazon job, which I do like, but it is a further bit away, and getting there by bus takes approximately an hour. More than that. And that's too much time, especially with 12-hour shifts, 3 days in a row. So I get done with my 12-hour shift. I start from work at 6 p.m. and end at 6:30 a.m. I have to take a bus, and by the time I'm home, it's about 8 o'clock. And I only have an hour or so of free time until I can get approximately 7 hours of sleep. And then it repeats the next 12 hours. So can you imagine working 6 to 7 hours of sleep for 12 hours? That takes a toll on you after a while. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to get my license. So I'm going to get some driving lessons first. So a week after the vacation, I started with my driving lessons. 2 hours, 3 sessions. And here's the thing. I was really good. The only thing that surprised me about driving was how sensitive the pedal is for the gas, but I think it depends on the vehicle you're on. But the vehicle that I was using, it was a regular-sized vehicle, and it was a little sensitive. I wasn't stopping and going constantly, but I eventually learned, all right, well, I guess you don't need really tough taps on the gas to go at a reasonable speed. No, just tap it very lightly. And I got used to that. And, of course, turn signals, turning, all that. Make sure you're on the right lane to turn. Make sure you stick to your lane, your dedicated lane, your turning lane, all that stuff. I was spot on with my driving, right? I was spot on. They even asked me, did you have your license before this? And I'm like, no, this is my first time ever doing this. I was great. I even love the highway. Surprisingly enough, a lot of people despise highways. They're afraid of them. Some people just avoid them entirely. I prefer them because I can go at a reasonable speed and everything is just open and simple. You don't have to worry about stop signs that much. You don't have to worry about pedestrians or anything like that. Just straight path. Until, of course, you have to slow down on your ramp, which I did very easily. However, the instructor told me late that our ramp exit was coming up. But by the time he said that, it was almost already passing by. I realized this. I didn't panic or anything. I said, oh, well, it's too late. I got to take the next one. He's like, all right, take this next exit. And so we did. And parallel parking, that was tricky. But I pretty much got it down. and I had some more practice before my test. Now, my test occurred this week on Monday. On what day is it exactly? August 1st. So, got a little refresher on parallel parking, some driving. So, I'm ready. So, I go in, parallel parking. All right, here we go. There's the signal there. Got the signal on. Turn my wheel all the way to the right. I see the 3 cones in my rearview mirror. Go straight back. Turn left. Squeeze in. In there. Perfect park. All right, and the guy goes, all right, let's do your K-turn. So I'm like, all right, I gotta exit this parking area. All right, left turn signal. All right, back up. Blunk. Hit the cones. I failed. Because I did not look at the rearview camera. I didn't realize how close I was to the cones in the back. Well, I was a distance away, but I just refused to look at the camera. For some reason, my nerves were shot. And that's an instant failure. So I failed my first test, but I was okay. I was like, oh well. And I told the guy, I'll see you next week. He just looks at me. He's like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, it's your nerves, man, but you did everything perfect. It was just, you just didn't look at the rearview camera. But, I have to try again in 2 weeks. So, pay a little bit of money for that. But I pretty much got it, though, right? It's going to happen. I'm surprised I actually held myself pretty well. In the name of failure, you know me, I always kind of rage, but I did a little bit. I was like, I hit the cone and cones in the back, and I'm like, shoot. Well, the real dampening part about that experience wasn't the fact that I hit those cones and failed the test. It's the fact that I had so much planned for that week, and now I have to delay it for 2 weeks. I hate that. That means more time I have to spend commuting to a bus that doesn't even arrive on time, if not never showing up at all at work, right? That's another 2 weeks of me going through my 12-hour shifts with only 6 or 7 hours of sleep, right? I don't want that. I want to get my license, and once I do, I'm getting a vehicle right away. That's what I want. Specifically speaking, some people might ask me, what kind of vehicle do you want? I've had quite a few people ask me that. So I want a hatchback. It's kind of like think a smart car, but it seats 4 people. Kind of like that. Compact enough, but not too small to the point where you can't fit, you can only fit like 2 people. I want a 4-door hatchback of some sort, like a Honda Fit or something like that, or whatever they're called, right? That's what I want. The main reason is because not only is it small, but I also hear they have very good mileage, like good miles per gallon, like 30 plus or more. And that's what I really would like to have. Now, some people have asked me, like, what about like a Nissan? What about those Nissan Leafs or whatever you call it, those electric cars? They are pretty decent, and I know you can get some that are affordable, but the problem is I don't have a garage. I don't even live in a house. Technically, it's not my house. I will eventually get my own apartment again. But even if I have an apartment, I don't have one of those nice fancy chargers. I don't have those nice fancy chargers that you plug into your vehicle and it charges it overnight for 10 hours, maybe less. If you want an AC adapter to charge your car all the way, that will take forever. And I don't want our energy bill going up and up and up. And I don't feel like parking my vehicle at a recharging station a whiles away every time, right? I think it would be temporarily convenient to have just a regular gas vehicle, but something with good mileage at the same time. So that's what I plan on doing. But I really can't wait. Hopefully I pass this next time. Otherwise, I will let you know on my podcast if I failed again. Now, I believe in New Jersey, it's an unlimited amount of tries to get your license. Because other states, they limit to 3. And then after that third failure, if you want to try again, you have to redo your permit again. Which means most likely answering those questions. Maybe not, but I know in New Jersey, I believe it's an unlimited amount of tries. However, you have to redo your, you have to renew your learner's permit every 6 months. So you have to pay extra money for that. It's always money. Always, always, always money. So, yeah. So, recap. Failed my first test just because of a small blunder that I could have easily avoided. It wasn't my driving ability that was at fault, although technically it was. It was just my inability to look at that camera at the last minute. Everything else is perfect. My driving ability is also excellent. I actually kind of like it, although it kind of hurts my foot after a while, because when you're on that gas pedal for a while and you get out of the car, my foot's like, ow. But first time driving, pretty good. I liked it. I know some people are scared of it, but really, it's not that bad. It's kind of like riding a bike, After you learn, you just get used to it. That's what happened with me. And hopefully I get my vehicle soon. I hope I pass my test and everything. So everybody, wish me luck. So in terms of other life updates, remember how I was talking about Amazon Prime Day? So one of the items I got was a 2560 by 1080 monitor. For those who don't know, that's an ultra wide, 21 by 9. I'm not going to go too crazy with 32 by 9. That's too much. So I always wanted to have an ultra wide monitor. So I finally got it. It's good. It's great, by the way. It was only $220 because it was on sale. Ultra wide resolution. I don't care about it being 1080p, right? 1080p on a 30-inch screen is perfectly fine. It's 30 inches because it's ultra wide. That's why. But for the most part, if this was a regular 16 by 9 monitor, it would still be roughly 23.8 inches because that was my last one. This one is roughly the same size, just wider, right? 1080p resolution looks perfectly fine on a smaller monitor. It doesn't really matter because not only that, but I'm getting better performance out of my PC. I don't have to worry about my PC overheating and blowing up because it's trying to run the game past 60 FPS on a 4K resolution. No, don't have to worry about that. 1080p. I can easily play Call of Duty at 200 frames per second, maybe 150. I usually cap it at 150 because I generally like to have my GPU last a long time because I don't want its temperature soaring above 80. I know it could tolerate that temperature, but I would rather have it around the low 70s or high 60s, right? And I always put my fan on high throughout this whole time to make that heat escape the PC. Now, the CPU itself is got an AIO cooler. So the CPU is fine. It's just the GPU I'm kind of worried about. But yeah, ultra wide. Now, a lot of games support it. Not a lot of games don't. Or not a lot of games do. That's what I meant to say. Correction. Not a lot of games don't. So that means you saying that every game does. Well, quite a bit do. I'm rambling on. I can't speak today. So there is one game in question that does not support this, and that's Elden Ring. Officially. So I mentioned a while ago, my friend gifted to me this game. We played it on a modification called Seamless Co-op Mod. Very easy to install. Just drag a couple files over, edit the text file to create a password for your session. Other people do the same thing with their session passwords, and we all join in very easily. And it's so cool because every time a character in your co-op session dies, you don't have to resummon them again. They just spawn at the last known location that you spotted a site of grace or a bonfire for those who play Dark Souls. It's kind of like a respawn point. They respawn, they go back and meet us somewhere, and it's so cool to play co-op like this. The modification is buggy. We've been experiencing some issues like unable to join each other's sessions because of a disconnect. Certain enemies not dying, just standing there. Some enemies just get soft locked and they don't want to move ever, so we can easily kill them. This happened to one boss that we were fighting against, and I said to myself, it's too cheesy to kill him like this. So we forfeited the fight and we restarted again, and we did beat him properly. But it's so strange. But again, this modification is in beta, so there's expected to be a lot of issues. Considering the scope of the size of the game itself, it might take a long time. It'll probably never leave beta. But it's pretty cool overall to get my first experience of Elden Ring with a co-op. Now, in terms of my experience with the game itself, if I really wanted to, I could just play the game solo, which I might intend to do on my second playthrough of it. The game itself is great and all that, but unofficially, I can actually apply another mod, which allows me to play the game in ultra wide. I can get rid of those black bars on the sides and have an ultra wide experience, and it's so good. Right, I can also remove the 60 FPS frame rate cap by using a program called Flawless Widescreen. It does that. It also removes vignette, and it also allows me to adjust the field of view, which is so nice. And the only issue is that the HUD itself, the HUD elements of the screen are not fully to the corners of the screen on ultra wide. They are slightly to the center in that 16:9 ratio format, but I don't really mind it, to be honest. I kind of forgot that they're actually closer to my screen instead of farther away. Would I prefer the HUD elements to be in the corners of the screen? Yes. But for the time being, I don't really mind it that much. So, Elden Ring is a tough game. I will say that. I haven't really fully been a big damage dealer because I haven't upgraded my weapons at all because I like to save my stuff. But I am eventually going to apply myself with a bleed build. Bleed is definitely really good because one of my friends have those dual katanas. Oh my god, they're freaking brutal. And now I'm going to do that with daggers. I want to be fast. I'm going to go real quick, you know. Stop. That's the kind of fighting style I like. I like fast, rapid, like extremely fast, low damage, but very high DPS style of gameplay when it comes to fighting, right? So that's what I like. This Elden Ring, I will say one more thing about it, and this might make people very upset, but I said this. Oh, this game is like Breath of the Wild, only it's actually good. And some people are like, wait, what? Wait. You did not like Breath of the Wild? And my honest answer is not really. It was a decent game. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't a great Zelda game. That's an alternate topic altogether, and I'm hoping I get a podcast episode about that because I eventually want to have friends discuss our 3 favorite Zelda games and 1 or 2 of our least favorites. I want to have a group talk about that with at least myself and 2 other people, or more, maybe, and we'll take turns. We'll take turns going around, like say, okay, this is my favorite game, and this is why. And then other people are like, well, I agree, that's my favorite game too because of this. This is also on my list. So eventually, I'd like to do that. It would be amazing. But until I get more popular or I start asking people directly, because there are some people out there who like to discuss things, but they don't want to discuss it on a podcast. And I understand, some people have a little bit of stage fright in a way, or internet fright. So who knows? We could probably have an episode about it eventually, but time will tell. All right, so I think this will be the end of the episode. I pretty much have nothing else to talk about. It was a great vacation. A little hot, a little boring after a while, but great vacation I had. The other topic was about my driving. I will get my license eventually. I will get my car. Can't wait. I really want one so badly now that I realized how much of a good driver I am. Yeah, I failed my test once, but, we're only human. We fail. We fall the first time sometimes. That's how it goes. That's how life goes. And once again, I hope everybody had a good day. And also a big thanks to my friend Al Hyena for gifting me Elden Ring and having good sessions and funny moments, which I clipped on Twitch, and he laughs at me and I laugh at him. We roast each other, but it's okay. We're all best friends, I think. So with that being said, this pretty much wraps up my episode of the Dergboi Podcast, episode 16. So once again, my name is RuggedTheDragon. I appreciate all those who listen to me ramble on about my different topics. So again, if you have different subject topics that you want me to discuss, or you want to be a guest on the show itself, you want to ask me a few questions offline or on Twitter, I greatly appreciate it if everyone participates. It really helps me out, helps me feel better knowing that all of my friends and followers are being included in the show. So I'll see you all next time. Take it easy and be safe. Dergboi out.